Yes, you can save money by adjusting your thermostat. I'm going to show you how. How do you figure out what type of thermostat you need? I'm going to tell you that as well. I'm going to give you some installation tips. We're going to look at a couple different thermostats that I install every day in the field. Today's video is tips for homeowners. I'm Tad. Let's go ahead and get started. So, can you adjust your thermostat and save money? Yes, you can. Now, how do you figure out if you can save money by adjusting your thermostat? You perform a simple test. I'm going to talk to you about maintaining the temperature in your home, different types of insulation. We're going to talk about that in just a second. But first, I'm going to show you how to do this little simple method to figure out if you can adjust your thermostat. So you can agree, it is easier to cool your house at night than it is during the day when the sun is out, okay? So let's say that you keep your thermostat on 70, okay? You keep it on 70 all day long, and your temperature stays on 70, but your unit runs all day long. What I want you to start doing is I want you to turn your thermostat up 5 to 7 degrees, okay? Or 8 degrees, or 10 degrees, whatever you can stand to turn it up to if you're living inside of it and you're staying in your home all day long. Now, if you're leaving and you're going somewhere to work every day, to your job, or you're just going to different places during the day, then it's not going to matter as much to you because you'll be able to adjust. You won't be there. Then when you get home, you can turn it back down. So what we're doing is we're turning our thermostat temperature up, and we're seeing if the temperature in the house maintains or if it rises. Now let me talk to you about why. If your temperature in your home is maintained and it never moves up, okay, then that means that your unit is kicking off and on, okay? So your unit doesn't run all day long. Your insulation is either really good, you either have foam insulation in your house, you either have really good ventilation, or you just don't have any infiltration. Infiltration is meaning air from the inside is going out or air from the outside is going in. Your insulation, your ventilation are definitely a key to maintaining that temperature inside your home. And I'm going to show you what foam insulation is, but you probably already know. It's that stuff that looks yellow, and sometimes it's fluffy because it's open cell, or it's really, really hard because it's closed. This right here is what foam insulation looks like. And it's a great way to seal up a home and provide a very good insulation value, also to maintain good temperature in your home. So if you're maintaining your temperature and it's not moving, not rising, then that means you probably can't save much money because you have a great insulated home. But if you do this little method that I showed you, if you turn that temperature up on your thermostat and your thermostat's temperature in the room temperature rises up to that 77 degrees that you put it on, or that 78 degrees, or that 80, then that means you can save some money. Let me explain to you why. Because during the day, when it's harder to maintain the temperature, your unit will be shut off now because you turn the temperature up. Now, when you get home from work or your job, wherever you are, then you can turn your temperature back down, and it's easier to cool your home down because you don't have the external force, that sun, that extra load beating down in your home and causing these issues of not being able to maintain. Either that or your unit's not actually sized properly. The way to figure that out, go to my playlist, HVAC Tips for Homeowners. I've got a video on there to figure out what size your air conditioner is, and I also give tips on square footage sizing to help you. Think of your house as a battery and your air conditioner as the charger. You also have the sun, which is a load. So if you use the charger to charge the battery while the load is there, it's going to be harder than when the load is no longer there. And the load is during the day. So it's easier to charge your battery at night with the charger than it is when it's during the day, when the load is present. I hope that makes sense. Let's get back to what types of thermostats are there and how to figure out what type of thermostat you need. So these are typical thermostats that I use in the field. This is a T4 thermostat. This is a T6 thermostat. Both of these can be programmable. Okay, this is also a Pro Series thermostat. This is a T701. And you can figure this, what type of thermostat you need by what equipment you have. Do you have a heat pump? Is it electric? Is it gas? If it's gas, that means it's conventional. See how this says one heat, one cool conventional? So that means you would have a single stage unit. Single stage meaning one stage for heating, one stage for cooling. And if you have a heat pump, then this thermostat can be used for a heat pump as well. So this can be used for a heat pump or gas, okay? And if you need two-stage cooling, two-stage heat, say you have a more advanced system, it's higher in SEER, it's more efficient, then it might have 2 stages for the cooling and 2 stages for the heating. Now this is for a heat pump, and then this is for gas. So you just got to figure out if you have gas, you have electric, if it's heat pump or it's gas, okay? Once you figure that out, then you figure out what thermostat you need. T4 by Honeywell, if you want more information about these thermostats, I'm gonna post a link in the description. Now, let's talk about typical wiring. And then if you have any questions about this, let me know. You see where this right here is where you wire everything in for your thermostat. And this is part of the little back plate that goes on the wall. Now, this is the gray shaded terminals are for wiring up conventional. So if you have a gas unit, then that's where you would wire this. W is the heat call, so this is for your heating. R is called your 24 volts. So it's part of your power that powers the thermostat. Unless you have batteries, you will be using a common, but if you have batteries, you won't use a common. So this right here is usually typically a blue wire or black wire. This is part of your power. Your C and your red power the thermostat. Your G is your call for your fan. So this is the indoor fan energizes when this terminal is energized and it blows through the vents. This is your Y terminal, and this is your call for your cooling. So typical wiring for this, if I had a gas unit, I would be typically using the white wire for the W, the red wire for the R, blue wire for the C, green wire for the G, and the yellow wire for the Y. Now, if I was to hook this up for a heat pump, then I would be using the white terminals. And I would typically use the O terminal because the O stands for reversing valve. And this is what switches from heating to cooling when you have a heat pump. The B terminal is typically used for ream and RUD installs, energizes and heating. And then the O is used for Trane, American Standard, Carrier, most brands energize and cooling. W2 is for your emergency heat, your auxiliary heat. This is when it gets below 30 degrees. And then your emergency heat terminal, this is your E terminal. If your compressor fails, then you can no longer heat with that heat pump compressor and you lock out and you use your emergency heat, okay? So emergency heat is used for heat pumps. Now I'm gonna show you this little T701 thermostat and show you how it doesn't have an emergency heat terminal. Typically, if you have a heat pump, you wouldn't use this thermostat. There is no emergency heat. So you would use this for electric, if you had electric heat strips, or you have a gas unit. These are typical thermostats that I use. I hope this video helps, and I hope that you understand a little bit more about how to save money. I'm Tad. You've been watching Tips for Homeowners. Definitely like, subscribe, share the video. If you want to join my channel, you want me to help you, definitely support and click the join button. I've got videos on there. If you want to learn more about heating and air, I definitely want to help you do that. Thanks for watching, and definitely do not forget, I'll keep you cool if you let me.